Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me on the Outlive Your Life podcast. My name is Tiffany, and I am a passionate advocate for the aging and those who support them. To outlive means to live through or to outlast something. And there is no better place to learn about life than in senior living. With each episode, I will introduce you to a resident whose wisdom, experience, and life impacted those around them and the valuable lessons we can all learn from them. Then, I will share interviews from those who are striving to make an impact in the lives of older adults every single day. We will discuss the path which led them to their career, how it has changed them, and why they are so passionate about outliving their life. So be ready, be encouraged, and be transformed. Maybe, just maybe, you will discover a new career path working with the aging as well. Let's go. Laura was a beautiful woman, fairly young, quiet, walked with a limp while holding onto her walker. She didn't smile. Her eyes were piercing. As a newbie in senior living, not knowing much about health issues or anything, I always wondered why she lived there, looking so young. One late evening, there was a call for help in her apartment through the call bell. The staff, they were in the middle of resident showers. So I went in to see how I could help her. Laura just needed something from her closet. She was sitting in her chair watching TV, facing the window, but knew she could not bend over to reach it without assistance. It was the first time I was with her alone, one-on-one. Since I was new, she asked me a couple of questions. I found it so hard to understand her. She must have recognized my strained face because she began to tell me a story. I am sorry if you're having a hard time understanding what I'm saying. I reassured her, Laura, it was okay. It was okay. I kind of lied. I was really trying hard. Then she said, I was a postal worker for 25 years. I lived in California. I said, oh, really? She said, yeah. I could not wait until I retired. I was looking forward to it. I had a big retirement party. My family came from all over. I said, that is so great, Laura. And then she said, the next year was so much fun. I got to do a lot of the things that I wanted and waited so long to do. But then it happened. I said, what? What happened? And she then proceeded to tell me about her stroke, the experience that she had with it, and how she moved from California to Florida because her daughter lived in Florida. She was away from all her friends and her family. And then she looked at me squarely with those piercing eyes and that paralyzed face. And she said to me, crap happens. Get over it. I had to realize that crap happens. Get over it. Except, of course, she actually said the word, that rhymes with it. And from that, there were 3 things that I learned from Laura that day. Number 1, make the best of every situation. We all have troubles and struggles that happen in our life, but to really try and make the best of it. Understanding that crap happens. The second thing I learned from her is enjoy the freedoms that you have in life because you never know if you will always have those freedoms. The things you take for granted sometimes may not be there. So be grateful and enjoy those small freedoms that you have. And the third thing I think it was really God trying to talk to me because of the moment I was in my own life, is to stop whining. Stop whining about why is this happening to me? Crap happens. Get over it, Tiffany. It reminds me of a great quote. It may be unfair, but what happens in a few days, sometimes even a single day, can change the course of a whole lifetime. You are about to meet a millennial entrepreneur, not just a millennial, a young millennial entrepreneur, who, like Laura, had a very unfair event that changed the course of his lifetime. And yet he decided to utilize the pain in his life to bring about healing to others. So continue listening. Today, my guest is someone that I am so excited to have on Outlive Your Life. Michael Snowden came to me by way of, and he didn't really come to me, I think I came to him by way of LinkedIn, believe it or not. I saw a very, very touching video that was shared, and it was so compelling that I felt a need to reach out to him. So glad I did, because this young, quote unquote, millennial that we talk so much about is absolutely amazing and doing things in the healthcare market with Alzheimer's and dementia care specifically. That is amazing, and how he's trying to impact the lives of people. He has a great personal story of why or how at 24 years old, he is able to own a home health company, a nonprofit organization, and soon to be launching a new venture. So with that, I would love to welcome Michael. I am so excited to have you on Outlive Your Life.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be on. Thank you for reaching out to me.
I know. I promise I'm not a stalker. I promise. I just was so excited about what you're doing. And let's just start off at the beginning, if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
So most people don't know that you had early experience with Alzheimer's and dementia. Can you talk a little bit about how you was exposed to Alzheimer's and dementia and what happened?
Yeah, sure. So my mother was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia at the age of 50. It was something that me and my family, we necessarily didn't know what exactly it was. And the doctors themselves, they didn't know what it was because she was so young that they named it so many things, from mad cow disease to like fluid in her spine. So it was kind of a lot of just Googling and searching, and before we actually got the actual diagnosis of dementia. And at that time, me and my sister became the primary caregivers. My dad as well, while he was at work. The responsibility kind of fell on us to kind of keep the family going and make sure everything was okay with my mom.
Wow, that I can only imagine. So, what were some of the symptoms or things that she was doing that kind of gave you guys pause?
Some of them I like to look back and laugh because it's just, I don't know, I feel like you have to find moments where those moments of joy. But like, she was always a big cook. She loved to cook. And it was one time she was cooking, I think it was peach cobbler. And she didn't have any peaches. She didn't have all the ingredients, but she was determined on still making it. Like I kept telling her, like, no, you're not able to make this because you don't have this. And she, being a mom, my mom, she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Go sit down. So I just sat and watched her try to cook. Sad story, but I still find it a little humorous, as well as just other things. Like she would often forget small stuff. Like she'll forget that she gave me $1 the other day for lunch, or she'd forget that she would, I don't know, it was just like small things that she would forget, like little habits that she would do. She had this thing where she would always collect a newspaper. It was something she never did before, but it would be all over the house. So it was like those little weird, different things that she was doing that we weren't used to doing. So it raised some questions.
So it wasn't just like normal forgetting, like, okay, I'm looking for my glasses and they're on top of my head, right?
Yeah,
I do
no.
that a lot. but
Yeah, no.
but they were just things that either new habits or new things that she was doing that she wasn't doing
Mhm.
before, or things that she always did and knew how to do, she couldn't do anymore. Am I correct?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So can you tell me a little bit of the before and after? So what was life like before, and then what was it like after the diagnosis?
Oh, sure. Yeah, my mother, she was a very, very, very bright person. She always bragged to me, my sister, about how she graduated high school early and how she went off to school and got her master's degree. So she was a very smart person, and she made sure she instilled that in us. So like our summers were filled with like doing extra math problems and doing reading that we didn't want to do, and as well as sports. Like we were big into sports. So my mom always had me involved in
Mm.
something. Either it was soccer, basketball, and then we were active in the church. So she would have me in Christmas pageants and
Oh, how cool is that?
have me up talking in front of church. So yeah, she was one of those people that really pushed us
Yeah,
to be the best person we can as a kid and made sure we were prepared for whatever in the world.
right.
And then after the disease, like, I mean, it kind of changed. It was like, well, I was a spoiled kid. I will admit that. I'll never used to admit that, but my mom used to spoil me. I never used to have to do anything around the house. But as soon as she got sick, like that kind of flipped. It was like I went from her taking care of everything to me having to take care of her.
Wow, wow.
Um, yeah, it was like a big shock because I was at the time I was 12, so it was like I was in that weird age where it was like I was about to become a teenager and I felt like I was growing up, but I got this new responsibility of where I had to take care of my mom. So it was like the whole dynamic shift.
So how fast did from the diagnosis to the having to really take care of, how fast did that happen for you and your family?
Yeah, I would say it was about the complete shift. I'd say about 2 years.
Wow.
About 2 years. It was one of those things where it was like one day, like I told you, we noticed some of the symptoms and it just started getting worse, worse. And eventually we had to tell her to quit her job and we had to take her keys from her. And then it got to the point where it's like, all right, somebody has to be at home to make sure she's okay. Somebody has to be more attentive to her. So
So how did you guys arrange that? Because now you're the caregiver, right? And you're going to school, your
mhm,
sister's going to school, your dad is at work trying to, of course, keep the finances up
mhm,
for the family because now you've lost the whole income in the household. So as a
mhm.
so how did you guys handle that as a caregiver? What did you guys do?
Yeah. So a lot of it was kind of depending on the family and I guess other people that we knew that can come and sit with my mom while I was at school or while my dad was at work. But most of the time, it was like, all right, I have to go to school, but then right after school, I have to go home.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I really didn't get a chance to do much. Like I was still able to be involved in sports. My aunt, God bless her heart, she helped out a lot. She picked up a lot of the slack and really was able to just watch her sister, sit with her, enjoy time with her, cook for her.
It does take
Yeah,
a
it
village,
was.
doesn't it though? I mean, like when you're
It
talking,
does. It
I'm
definitely does.
thinking about my own grandmother and how it takes a village. You're kind of everybody has to pitch in. What did you find was the biggest challenges as a family with the caregiving portion?
I definitely say it was a lot of stress because I mean, we had my mom in the house, and she's not the mom we always remembered. So it was like, oh, it just brought a lot of stress upon the family. And I know me wanting to grow up and me wanting to be a teenager and being in high school for the first
Yeah,
couple of years. It's like I wanted to go to the school dances. I wanted to do all these things, but I couldn't. So it's like I necessarily really didn't understand at the beginning
right, right,
why I couldn't do these things, why this was happening to me. Um,
right, right.
so yeah,
It's a lot of
and overall,
sacrifice, right?
it was. But now I kind of see the bigger picture now that I'm older, and I'm glad I was able to have those experiences with my mom and those summers and those days that I just got to just be with her.
Yeah, 'cause then you're able to now, of course, after the fact, to reflect and then to cherish those moments that was there while you were taking care of her. So when it comes to resources, what resources were out there for you guys, or did you even know where to go to help you with that? Or how did you guys manage that?
At the time, we didn't have any resources. We didn't know much of anything. About the most resources we got was my dad taking my mom to the Mayo Clinic and them running research and tests and basically trying to figure out what it was without calling it dementia. Other than that, it was really Google.
Wow.
Like we were really just searching like what she was doing and like trying to find other symptoms or if there's any other stories out there like that or if there's any news articles. It wasn't many resources out there at the time for us.
Wow. So now thinking about those struggles, and I guess maybe I should say this, the resources weren't there, so how did you guys manage all of that? I mean, did you just learn more about the disease process, how to care for people with the disease? Like, what did that look like? If you can kind of walk me through what that looked like for you and your family.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of it was, like I said, the Google searches, and I feel like a lot of it was intuitive. Like we really
Sure.
cared for our mom, and it kind of just showed through. It's like we knew, like we had to learn how to be patient. That was a big one. We had to learn how to be understanding, and we just had to work together
Yeah.
to kind of figure it out. It was one of those things where it wasn't there was no rule book, there was no guidelines or anything like that at the time. It was more of just figure it out, live each day with my mom and kind of just figure it out.
So, with what you know now, what do you wish you knew then
Mhm.
as a caregiver?
I kind of wish I would have known more about just the processes of like what actual dementia is, because a lot of people just think it's you start forgetting things, but as I saw the disease progress, like it's a lot of things that you actually do forget, like how to eat, how to use the bathroom, how to get dressed, how to just feed yourself, things like that. It was that was something that shocked me that I didn't realize was a part of dementia, and like ultimately forgetting how to breathe. That was, yeah, that was something that I wasn't prepared for, something that I really didn't understand at the time.
So, it's not just the actual, because everybody says, "Oh, you become forgetful," but I think from what you're saying, it is the degree of the forgetfulness is what you're saying that you weren't
Hmm.
prepared for, and how to cope with each stage of loss is what it sounds like you're saying.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, with all of that, how did those experiences shape your life today?
I definitely say it gave me my mission. It it brought me to school. Like I went to school, where my mom graduated from, and it kind of just brought into my attention kind of like where I should go with my life and how I can help people through my experience. Me and my sister, we made it a goal that nobody should have to go through what we went through. The resources should be present for everybody, and they should know how to deal with it.
So did
Um,
the local Alzheimer's
yeah.
Association, I mean, I'm not trying to call them out, but I was just wondering, did you even know about them, or was there anyone who directed you guys to their resources at all? I'm just wondering because they do there's a lot that's out there, but
Mhm.
I'm just trying to think, is there a better way for maybe people in the healthcare industry, whether it's her doctor, whether it's did you ever her doctors in the hospital, different case managers, is there something that they could have done better to give you more resources? I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I know for my dad, they gave him some resources like support groups and things like that. But my dad, he's a strong man. He's not one of those people that necessarily
Ah,
goes to support groups.
okay.
But yeah, and I kind of
Uh-oh.
take after him as well. But pride, prideful. But I mean, it's just the way that information is presented. Like there's now that I know there's so much out there. It really wasn't until after my mom passed and I started telling the story about everything. That's when I started finding out more about like the Alzheimer's Association and other other resources that are available. And I guess a big part of it as well was kind of just normalizing the disease because in our family it was kind of a hidden secret. Like I would always tell people, like people would ask me why I had to go home from school or why I had to do certain things. And I was just like, my mom's sick. Like I remember it was one time I was playing basketball. I couldn't
Mm,
make it to practices. So I had to
mm.
tell my coaches that my mom was sick and they didn't believe me. So it's like I quit the basketball team.
Oh, wow. So there is, and I'm hoping that we are getting better at this, but there was a level, from what I understand, what I'm hearing you saying, of shame, I think, that
Hmm.
was tied to the disease. Am
Hmm.
I right in that?
You are correct. You're correct. It's like one of those things that's I don't know, because it's the effect of the disease and kind of like losing your memory and not being able to have linear conversations and I don't know. And then my mom's presence in the community, like she was a big community person, and not seeing her around, it's like
Wow.
it had that effect on him.
How old? So now you talked about how it shaped your life. What happened after
Hmm.
that? So when did your mom pass away?
Passed away in 2016. about
I'm
2 days
sorry.
before my 21st birthday.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and then after that, you talked about or asked about the progression
yes.
of kind of like how we got to where we are now. So it was not too long after that that me and my sister had found her letter that she wrote for her master's degree. And it was talking about like the entrance letter. And she wrote about how she wanted to be an entrepreneur in the healthcare
Wow.
industry. That was like that was her last job. She was a caregiver. She had like a couple of clients, and that was something that she wanted to take on as her own. And me and my sister found that and kind of fixed it up, and we ran with it. My sister already had a background in healthcare, so she's been running more of the administrative side, and I've always been the creative and talking person. So I've been running like the marketing and things like that. So from there, we kind of just put everything together
So when did you guys start the healthcare
at
company?
the end of 2016. So after my mom passed, it was a couple of months, and then we started getting to work. We started sharing our story.
You know what? Now that you're saying this, it makes complete sense because the name of your healthcare company is Legacy.
Yep.
And now it's tying together for me is that your your mom's legacy is what you guys are fulfilling. Isn't that
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that is
That's correct.
amazing. And so tell me a little bit more about that process of starting the home health company. And what was some of your biggest challenges, yours and your sisters, in getting it opened and
Mhm.
operated?
I would definitely say one of the biggest challenges we had is our age. But when we started, I was 21, my sister was 25. It's like we're the young kids in an
Mhm.
industry that's taking care of old people,
Yeah.
for lack of better words. And it's, I don't know, it just, I don't know, we weren't really heard or taken seriously. But after a while, we were able to create some partnerships. We created a partnership with the UW Wisconsin. And we were able to join in on one of their
Now
programs as a friendly visitor. So in that,
tell me what is that what is it called?
the friendly visitor.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay, okay,
Oh,
okay.
the University of Wisconsin. Hmm. Yeah, it was their Alzheimer's Institute. We were able to connect with them and do some work with them where we were able to bring in some respite care providers to go into the homes while they did some of their research and were able to take care of the person living with Alzheimer's and dementia while they were asking questions to the caregiver and kind of trying to figure out what the stigma was of Alzheimer's and dementia and trying to get more help into the inner cities. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so we partnered with them to provide respite care while they went and did some research in the inner cities about Alzheimer's and dementia and kind of the whole stigma around it within the community of color and why we don't necessarily always ask for help and how to ask for help and how we should provide help.
Now that's very interesting because you're absolutely right.
Hmm.
Even in my own family, my grandmother, we talked about it a little bit, had Alzheimer's, and
Hmm.
there was no asking for help. It was just doing. We're kind of like a do. Okay, we have
Hmm.
this. Let's just do and plow on. And there was not an understanding of the disease, the process, or the asking for help. And so it's
Hmm.
interesting. So has do you feel like there is a shift or a move for it to be is getting better, or is that one of the missions of the legacy home health to go out there and in your marketing efforts to get that help for those people who are really just don't know how to ask?
I definitely feel like there's a shift with like the number of inquiries that we've gotten as of late and the number of people I've gotten to share their story with me. I feel like it's becoming more open. More people are starting to realize that this is a normal, like this is a normal disease. Like there's a lot of people out there that have it. So they're more open to talk about it and more open to receiving help and finding more resources. So I feel like our work, we still have more work to do in
Sure.
normalizing it and reducing the stigma, but I definitely feel like there's a change.
Wow. So tell me a little bit more about your megaphone that you're utilizing now through your nonprofit organization. Evelyn's Angels,
Mhm.
right? Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. It's named after my mom,
Nice.
Evelyn. And I'm using that as a platform to kind of provide those resources as well as share my story as well as other people's story. One of the big projects I'm working on now is I call it the Memory of Angels, where I've been interviewing people who have been impacted by Alzheimer's and dementia and kind of getting their side of the story. Because often the times we see numbers around Alzheimer's and dementia, but we don't really get the chance to hear the stories about
Mhm.
Alzheimer's. I feel like that builds a better understanding and connection of what the
Mhm.
disease is
Mhm.
beyond the numbers. So me and my sister were the first ones to share our story. My goal is to get 100 people, 100 different voices, and exhibit it at the end.
So are
So,
you doing it as a
um,
documentary?
yeah,
Nice.
yes,
That is
yes.
great.
It's gonna be it's gonna be like a series. And I always get the word wrong, but
Okay.
an anthology.
Okay. No, that's great. Because there's so
So,
many stories. I mean, so are you doing it from the perspective of the caregiver, or are you actually, which I guess you did, of course, with your sister and yourself, but are you actually interviewing
mhm.
the actual, the person who's impacted with, or who's been diagnosed with the disease?
Yeah, that is one of my goals, to get a few people that have the disease, that are living with it. And by living with it, I mean they're still integrated into society. They're still out moving and grooving. People that have their story to
Yes,
still
yes.
share. I kind of want to get a wide range of people for this one.
I will tell you the most impactful moment in my life when I think about my grandmother was after I got into the industry because she had it for a very long time. It was very slow and
Mhm,
progressive for her. But when I became a sales manager in senior living, we had in the state of Florida, Alzheimer's 1 and 2 dementia training. Everybody had to go through it.
mhm,
And there was a video, I believe it was produced by HBO, that talked about it, and it had people who had the disease talking about their struggles, and that is when
mhm,
it hit me. It really hit
mhm,
me on the struggles that I was not even aware the person who is going through it is going through and
mhm.
experiencing. So it is storytelling is very, very powerful, especially with this disease. So when do you expect to be complete with the project?
I'm hoping by next year, August, that I should have everything finished.
That's great. That's great. And how would you be distributing it out?
First, small screenings and kind of seeing
Uh-huh.
where it goes from there.
Nice.
Social media is always a big thing, so most likely it'll be a social media premiere. But start off with small screenings and see how it goes.
Well, that's great. So then that way people who are listening today can keep tabs on you, right? And say and find out
Mm.
when when is it going to come out so that they can really see and it could be obviously utilized for education. That's the way I guess I'm thinking
Yes.
about it because you're talking about the small screenings and social media, but the education for those of us who work in the industry, especially on the community level, when people are first coming
Hmm.
and saying, "Hey," for neurologists, right? For people just going in there and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on," to be able to send something out and educate families on what that looks like.
Hmm.
So that's I'm really excited to hear about that and to see what happens. So
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
very
you.
excited about that.
Yeah,
So can
that's.
you tell me I'm good,
Oh
I'm
no.
sorry.
Okay, I'm saying that was part of a small part of the initiative that I want to go following that. So, like you said, it's big on education. That's definitely true. Another thing that I was working on was dementia friendly businesses. So I'm working on.
Hmm.
I'm
Explain
working.
that a little bit deeper. Let's
Yes.
let's go deeper into that. Dementia-friendly businesses. Explain what that is.
Yeah, sure. So basically, it's an education program where we're teaching businesses how to become dementia friendly. Um, I know we had spoke about it off the record, but I'll share this story again. It was one time, like we used to take my mom out to eat all the time because none of us were really cooks. She was the cook in the house.
Okay.
So we always had to find something to eat. And oftentimes we go to restaurants and the waiters or people there wouldn't necessarily know how to interact with her or how to service her. They would either try to shy away from our table or they would just not want to come over there. I know it was a couple of times. My
Wow.
mom, she would always say it's her birthday. And I remember it was one time, one of the waiters, like she wanted proof that was her birthday. She wanted to see ID and everything. We didn't really want to make it that big of a problem. So we were like, just bring her something, we'll pay for it. But
Wow.
my dad,
Wow.
my dad did have one great experience where he went to a local bakery here and the lady behind the counter, she just understood. She just got it. She was able to have a conversation with my mom. She was able to service her and get her everything that she wanted and needed, and they felt comfortable there. I feel like that's an experience everybody with Alzheimer's dementia should be able to have, be able to go about their daily routine and still feel comfortable about it, not feel ashamed.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of my goal is kind of just spread that. I'm starting with the cafe at my office. So it's a Arts at Large cafe. It's like a student ran cafe. I'm kind of teaching them basically Dementia 101 and how to service people that may have cognitive disability. So,
I'm getting chills, right? I mean, I just think about I am because you are so absolutely right. Working in senior living, families often on a Sunday or a Saturday, a weekend when they're off work would come and take their loved one out to dinner or to
Hmm.
lunch. And you as a family member, you're already having to go through this process, which is hard enough. But then to
Hmm.
have your loved one sitting down eating with you and the waiter or waitress don't understand the disease or the process. And it's not like you're going to go around telling everybody, but just to have a
Yeah.
good, keen awareness and how that experience of eating out can turn into a negative so
Hmm.
quickly without you even knowing. And the need for that to change is definitely out there because there's a lot of people with early stage dementia who's functioning, right?
There is. Yes, there is.
Wow. So how did you come up with the idea of Evelyn's I know because you already have the home health, so you're already making impact.
Hmm.
And then you decide to open up Evelyn's Angels. Just maybe just explain all of what Evelyn's Angels is doing. I know you said you're doing the documentary.
Hmm.
What are some of the other initiatives of Evelyn's Angels that you have for the nonprofit?
Yeah, sure. So the next one would be our memory cafes. It's kind of like the intersection between art and memory loss. Because I mean, as we talked before, Alzheimer's dementia can be considered an isolatory disease that mainly because of the shame. These memory cafes are just spaces where people feel comfortable and able to engage in art. Now, this is something that's done all over the country. We've kind of put a little twist on it. So we've partnered with another organization called Arts at Large, and we're going to be working with maturing artists. So that's artists over the age of 65, and they're going to be leading art workshops with people with Alzheimer's and dementia, as well as their care partners.
Now that is really interesting. So you guys are tapping into the boomer market, I should say,
Mm,
to
yes.
help those which some of it may be people that's even their own age, I would assume, but
Hmm.
to help, enrich their life and to give them some socialization, I should say, outside of the home and outside of the caregiver to help them as they are progressing with this disease. Am I correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Like the whole focus with this is more on kind of just creating that playing with imagination instead of really focusing on memory and forcing them to remember things.
Sure.
Because that can be stressful as well. So we're using art as that opportunity to do that,
Mhm.
as well as being able to create that relationship between the caretaker and the person living with Alzheimer's and dementia. Because most times it's like in situations like that, relationships may not always be the best.
Right.
'Cause it is definitely a stressful disease, especially if it's a loved one and they don't necessarily listen to you all the time or they get agitated. It's never easy. So using this as a medium and art as a medium kind of to help rebuild that relationship.
And to redirect, right? I mean, at the end of it, that's what we
Yes.
talk about a lot in senior living is that joining the person's journey. So not having them or forcing them to do the remembering thing, but then also
Hmm.
redirecting that to kind of get their attention somewhere else that is positive and that they can
Correct.
engage. So that is great. So Evelyn's Angels are starting these memory cafes as well. And if I understand you correctly, partnering with artists, maturing artists to help with that
Yep.
engagement. That is such a great idea. That is such a great idea. Like, that is such a great idea.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
like, how'd you come up with that stuff? Because I just see so many different things with that. So that is really, really great.
Hmm.
So what do you see for Evelyn's Angels in the future and your memory cafes? Like, what is, if you was to do your megaphone and say, okay, everybody across the nation, what do you see that where that's going for you guys? Or what do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So one of the biggest, like I've always been an artist. That's always been something that's been on my heart and kind of like a family talent that's been passed
Nice.
on. I kind of want to spread this idea of the memory cafes and like the art projects we're doing and kind of create a combined art project, art exhibit using different memory cafes from pretty much anywhere. Anybody that's willing to join, I would just love to have a exhibit combining different art from each place and each experience. So that's kind of what I view is like not having it just so local,
Right. Uh-huh.
more of a national type thing. So
I could definitely see that working so many different places. It is such a great idea, and I love it. I just think it's great.
thank you.
So now you're still working in the home health with your sister. You have Evelyn's
Correct.
Angels. You're doing a documentary, and you also have the memory cafes. Am I correct?
Is
My
correct.
goodness, Michael. And who says that young people don't have vision or mission or anything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, my God, you're doing a lot more than a lot of people, but you've been through a lifetime of education, haven't you?
I have. I definitely learned a lot.
Definitely. So, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, sure. Most by email would probably be the best way to reach out to me, and that would be info at Evelyn's Angel. Dot,
Can you repeat that? Because you went out just a little bit.
oh, sure. It would be info at evelynsangel.org.
Okay. Info at Evelyn's with an S angel.org. And what is
Yes.
your website for Evelyn's Angel?
Sure. It'd be
Okay, perfect.
www.evelynsangel.org.
All right. And if somebody wanted to use your home health company, what would they be? It would be the Legacy Home Health Services.
Yep, it would be legacyhomehealthservices.com. And then we have a referral sheet on there as well. You can fill that out. And from there, we would go ahead and do some assessments and then try to get you some help.
One thing I did remember you telling me too is, isn't Evelyn's Angels also raising money to help subsidize? So can you explain that a
Yes.
little bit more
So
to me?
that is, yeah, sure. So that's on one of the larger scale of things. So I'll take a step back. Kind of the start of Evelyn's Angel, it started from a need I witnessed in working with my sister in Legacy Home Health Services. It was there were a lot of people that needed help but couldn't afford help. So it was like they were turning down services that they need. It was a couple of sad stories where it was like there was a couple people just working multiple jobs and still trying to be caregivers and still trying to pay the bills and still trying to pay for all the medicine. I feel like that shouldn't be the case. People should be able to get the help that they need. And that was kind of one of the roles that Evelyn's Angel wanted to fill, was to subsidize some of that pricing for the
Wow.
care.
So so you guys are raising money through the nonprofit to help subsidize care for people who really need the help but is unable. Because a lot of people don't talk about those day-to-day struggles like you were talking about. You're still having to
Hmm.
work to pay the bills, but then also the medicine. It costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. It can be very expensive.
And so, yeah.
And most of the medicine, like there's no cure for Alzheimer's and dementia. So most of it is more of they
Mhm.
say slow down
Mhm.
the disease. I feel like with my mom, it just put her to sleep. She just went to sleep a
Okay.
lot. But yeah, it can be pretty expensive,
And
pretty
so there's a
pricey.
lot with that. And so Evelyn's Angels also raise money. Do you are there the bigger ideas to raise money to help subsidize those who need the additional help? Because there's so many people who need help and can't afford it. Whereas you're right. You're
Correct.
right. You're absolutely
Correct.
right. Well, is there anything else about any of your wonderful organizations that you would like to share with the audience at all? Give me money. Give me money for the
Trying to think,
nonprofit, right?
I mean, it wouldn't be going to me, but
That's
give
right.
money to
Right.
people that need help.
Right. That's
So,
right. Well, that is so great.
um,
Are you actually
yeah.
partnering with any local organizations to help with that as well? The reason why I'm thinking is like senior living. Because did you ever look at senior living for your mom, or did you guys go visit at all?
Yes, we did look at some senior living. My mom, she didn't like it at all. A couple of times we took her to like
Uh
just
huh.
try it out with some day programs, and she went in and she always thought she was the teacher.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, she just that wasn't anything that we could have put her in, and she was most
Okay.
comfortable at home.
But
So
when you was talking to them, like, did they give you resources or were they able to help you?
a bit. They were able to connect us with some things. I think that's how we originally got connected with the Mayo Clinic
Okay.
and trying to go there. other than that, I
Okay.
think
So there's
that's
more work
about
to be
it.
done everywhere, right? There's a lot of work to be done.
There is.
Well, I am so interested. I love how you were able to take something that was so, I don't call it negative, but it just impacted your life in such a way that you're turning all of it to help other people, right? I think that is just
Yep.
amazing. Okay. Well, I was just trying to think of anything else that I want to get out of you before I let you. But thank you so much, Michael, for sharing with us. And any other time that once you have your documentary completed, I would love for you to come back and talk about that
hmm
and the experience of what that was like as you're progressing with your filming. And I think people would love to hear that. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Outlive Your Life. My hope is the podcast will inspire and touch your life in some way while giving you a small glimpse of the benefits of working in senior care. If any of the podcasts resonated with you, please, number one, if you don't mind, just subscribe to the podcast so you'll be notified of future episodes. The second thing I'd love for you to do is to share it with others that you know so that we can grow our audience. And if it truly resonated with your heart, please leave a positive review so others can see why. And I read each and every one of them, so I'm very, very grateful for any time you take out of your busy schedule to do so. And if you're curious about careers or business opportunities in senior care or senior living, please be sure to contact me at tiffanyhillallen.com. Thanks. Until next time, find new ways to outlive your life.